So tonight we'll be moving through a few postures, and then I'll be speaking to how yoga can benefit your fertility. So tonight I've got my blanket here, a couple blocks, just as a few props that we'll be using. And I do want to speak to a few modifications that I want to address. If you have been taking any ovulation stimulating medication and there's a chance your ovaries could be enlarged, I just want to advise you to avoid any twisting, inversions, or arm extensions. And if you might be in your luteal phase and you tried to conceive, so this is the 2 weeks post ovulation, we want to avoid any deep twists during this time. So as always, yoga is a practice of connecting you with your body. So as we move through these postures, we just want to make sure that the body feels good. And it doesn't really matter how the posture looks, it's more how it feels within your body. So we just want to be tuning in to what your body is telling you and listening to that conversation. So with that, we'll begin our yoga pressure for fertility this evening in child's pose. So we can come onto our mat, bringing your knees about mat width. Big toes come to touch at the back of the mat here, bringing sit bones down to the heels, and then just lowering torso to the floor. You can reach your hands out in front, or if we're modifying, we can just stack the palms underneath the forehead. And just beginning here to settle into the space and connect to your breathing. Observing the breath as it enters the body. And noticing the space that's left behind with each exhale. Just tuning into that inner environment. Breathing deep here. When we're looking at how yoga can support our fertility by regulating the menstrual cycle, it's through the blood flow, which can bring nourishment to all our organ systems. And with this blood flow, it carries our reproductive hormones. So through this relaxation, we're just creating this space where the body can allow all these natural functions to occur. So as we're laying here in child's pose, again, just feeling the breath, feeling the support of the floor underneath you. And then gently making our way up to a comfortable seated position. Closing the eyes, bringing palms to heart center, Anjali Mudra. And taking a few deep breaths here. Setting an intention for this practice. Placing that intention between your two palms and close to your heart. And on an exhale, we can release the hands to the knees. And then we'll make our way down onto our back for Supta Baddha Konasana. So we can lie flat on the mat. I'm going to use the blanket underneath my head and then bringing soles of the feet to touch and legs, knees can drop wide. If you do have a block handy, it's always nice to support the legs here, so you can place a block underneath the knees. And just allow the body to melt into the floor. This is a great position because we're opening the inner lines of the legs, allowing for clear communication through the pelvis. And here we can place your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your womb space. With each inhale, you're feeling the breath fill the heart center. And each exhale, you're directing that energy down into the womb space. And we'll stay here for a couple breaths, just noticing how the body feels. Noticing where your mind goes. And if it wanders, just bringing it back to that sensation of the heart center expanding. And the energy moving down into the womb. And so you'll find with this fertility yoga practice that we hold the postures longer, creating a sense of stillness. In this stillness, we're developing all of the potential. Just connecting to the breath here. Using the support of your hands, you can draw the knees together, bringing the knees into the chest. And here we'll stimulate our first acupuncture point, or acupressure point. So I'll just show you here closer up. So we're gonna bring our hand just underneath the knee, one hand breadth underneath the knee, and then just bringing your finger just outside your shin bone. This is our first acupressure point right here. And so as we're laying here on our back, hugging the knees into the chest, just focusing a little attention here on this point. You can use small circles with the finger to give it a little extra stimulation here. But just keeping your attention on your breath, breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the nose. And then we can exhale, release, gently bringing the legs down onto the floor. And we'll set up for my favorite posture, Matsyasana. So if you do have blocks, we're going to set them up on the tall and then the medium setting. So this block here is going to go in between the shoulder blades, and then we're going to rest our head on the other block. So we want to make sure that we're adjusting the blocks so there's no jabbing sensation. Everything feels comfortable. If you don't have blocks, you could always roll up a blanket and place it between the shoulder blades just to feel the sensation of the heart opening. And just connecting to your breath here, allowing the breath to captivate the mind. Breathing deep. Staying in this position. You might be noticing a sense of calm, and there have been studies to show that yoga can help reduce anxiety and decrease stress and cortisol levels. And cortisol is a stress hormone that has a negative impact on our reproductive hormone balance and inflammation levels. So, by doing these exercises to help the body relax, we're eliciting a positive response on our hormone balance. And now we can gently release the posture, Matsyasana, and just lie flat on our back here, ending in our final pose, Shavasana. With a bit of a variation, we're going to place the palm over the womb center. You can place both palms stacked. And this is our second acupressure point. So we don't necessarily want to put a lot of pressure on this space. We just want to feel the weight of the hands. And then you'll begin to feel a sense of warmth generating here. The cultivation of all the positive energy you've placed in this space. Relaxing into the support of the floor. And just softening here. And when you're ready, drawing some deeper breaths into the body. Maybe wiggling your toes and your fingers. Making your way onto your right side. Just lying here for a couple breaths. And then coming up to a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed. Bringing hands to the knees. And allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Bringing your palms to heart center, Anjali Mudra, and connecting back to your intention. Why are you here this evening? Thank you so much for joining me for this short, sweet practice. Namaste.